pre-scare zone before you even like get into the house. Let me tell you the entire story for the Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origin house. And there's big Last of Us news for HHN.
There's bats hanging up above the scare zone.
It is classic, like me.
We are back at Universal Studios Orlando. It is time for another Halloween Horror Nights 2023 update. A lot of things happening within the park. Construction update, new lighting. We're gonna be talking kind of about the whole backstory behind each one of the scare zones and what Easter eggs you might run into. So the HHN shirt of the day is from 2000, the year that Jack took over HHN, right? Kind of changed the course of history for Halloween Horror Nights. So on that note, let's play the commercial before we go in.
Not afraid of the dark? You don't know Jack. Look out for the new Halloween Horror Nights 10, only at Universal Studios. Florida residents save $10 with a specially marked 2-liter Coca-Cola Classic label or coupon from a participating Taco Bell.
It's a toasty one. Let's head in.
I know, before we enter in, the lighting team, again, has gone all out here. Before you even get into the archway, you can see all the lighting over by the globe.
I got a theory. With there not being a nighttime show, maybe all that budget just went into the lighting package for this year. The lighting team is just going balls to the wall, and I cannot wait to see what they pull off.
The construction walls are down. Both turnstile areas are now finished and open, so they refurbed everything. New systems to make it a lot more efficient when you're coming into the park. They gotta sign up because there's no password previews today, but there's a VillainCon Minion Blast will open later today. Now it's official. Minions is here. The park map now has the promotional art for the Minions VillainCon. So we're thinking there'll be a ladder. Dr. Oddfellow will get up there and then he'll be welcoming everybody in because there's the railing right there.
Let's do the whole backstory behind all the little scare zones. When you're first walking in, right, there's be like present day Dr. Oddfellow, and there's gonna be different creatures from each one of the scare zones, like a highlight reel, right, of everything happening throughout the park. So you'll be welcomed in by Dr. Oddfellow, trying to like promise you immortality, right? And he's just gonna end up taking your soul. So that's gonna be present day when you're walking into the park. So now we're in the Dark Zodiac area. This is where we're kind of figure out the story. In the main house, right, for Dr. Oddfellow, gonna be based in the 1930s. So the 1930s, he's kind of welcoming people in, right, to take their souls to then become immortal, and Jack is also in that house. They're saying you go to another dimension within that house after you die. So I believe this is where the dark dimension is, for the Dark Zodiac. So then, okay, so then this is gonna be where Universal said he's gonna harness the powers. So I think within the house, right, you're gonna die, you're gonna go to another dimension, so the Dark Zodiac realm, which is here, and the Dark Zodiac creatures are in that realm. I think that's where we are with the story right now. We will continue onward.
So the Zodiac symbols over here, we're gonna have the Sagittarius, and then down here we're gonna have the lion for Leo, and then the ram back there for Aries. If you remember Theme Park Express, we were talking about this last time we were here. They put a weight on the bottom of this pole, so it's gonna be weighted, right? So you can see a little attachment point right up there. This is like a hollow tank almost, so something's gonna be being dunked in there. So I wonder if there'll be a soul being sacrificed by some of the creatures, but there's a weight to kind of help the thing go up and down, whatever's going to be happening within the pipe. But they've added a little bit more to this little stage.
Okay, so there's been a lot of kind of leaks happening from behind the scenes. Jared Film took a drone up. I don't know how he did it, but he got a bunch of behind the scenes photos. So we can see here more scare zone props ready to go out for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. So we can see this looks like all the props are going to be coming to the Dark Zodiac scare zone. Tomorrow or the next day, we'll see that stage pop out. Looks like there's a bunch of barrels and everything.
We're going to hop into the Jurassic Park tribute store. Now this will be closing, I believe, at the end of August. So you got to get here before HHN starts. Now we reported that E.T. went missing. He got kidnapped or went on a little field trip. It looks like E.T. has put a little note right there. It says, Kevin, welcome home. You've arrived. So E.T., thank you for welcoming me home. I appreciate it.
No, please! Don't take my photo! I don't want my photo taken!
Look like Kermit the Frog on the bike. And over here, you can see they've added Cancer, right? The crab. So they got a fish up there. Then they have what? Scorpio. There's a little area where you could like hook something in. The little spot where you could hook something in is now gone. You can see the hole right there where it was. Betty Boop, how are you doing?
How are you?
It's a little toasty out, a little toasty.
Yeah, I had to be redrawn a few times today. Whoa, you feel that wind?
I do have a little question for you.
Yes.
So over here, there's a photo of this very sad and upset lady.
She said like this.
What is a good quote that you could tell her to cheer her up?
To cheer her up? Shoot for the stars. She's got the long lashes. All you need is long lashes to be sassy, right? But I don't think she's very amused. To be honest, I'm not sure anyone can make her happy.
Heading into the Jungle of Doom scare zone now.
Now this is gonna be kind of where Dr. Oddfellow's story starts. They didn't give too much information about what's gonna be happening in the scare zone, but he's gonna be here to collect the crystal skull, and then that'll kind of set him on his quest for immortality. This is gonna be 1920. So 1920, then his house is 1930, and then the other scare zones are kind of later in time.
They've added some like foliage to the scare zone, probably like a speaker or something underneath. There's like an open meshing, so I think this is a speaker system underneath here. Now this is interesting. I wonder if this will fit in with kind of the cannibals that were in the original house. This looks like some shields. This all reminds me of like Kong's Skull Island or something. So there's 6 different shields that are on the back of this piece. Now they've also added some moss work and some more foliage all the way at the top. Now it looks like people are already scratching up the scare zone. Please guests, take care of these scare zones. How are you doing, Doc?
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you. So we have a quick question for you today.
Absolutely, young man.
There's a lot of spooky things happening. When you're time traveling, what candy bar do you like to get?
Almond Joy.
Almond Joy.
It is classic. Like me.
You are.
Old.
We can see the palm trees going. Oh, they added some stuff to the plane. Now for the Universal Airways plane, they've added some foliage. Now it's not as easy to see that it said Universal Airways on it. We've got Shrek and Fiona right over there. Now they're fitting in perfectly with the spooky vibe because there's freaking bats.
Look at it's freaking bats. I love Halloween.
There's bats hanging up above the scare zone. There's not just one bat, 3 of them. There's 3 bats here.
The bats are interesting because they have 4 pupils. If you zoom in and you look, I hope they glow during the nighttime. That'd be cool. Maybe they're spooky, man. Seeing these giant human-sized bats above you when you're walking through the scare zone.
When you're exiting, there's gonna be another one of those little shield display little tent things.
He has 4 eyes. He reminds me of Dracula. You know, Dracula failed our class, don't you?
Why?
He could only draw blood.
Oh, I was gonna say because he sucked.
Well, that's a good one too.
All right, someone get that bat Dramamine because he is just swinging. Now the one thing I can appreciate is each one of these bats is a different sculpt, because it could have been easy, right? They just make one simple mold and they just cast them and call it a day, but they really want to make it different, right? So each bat is a little unique. They have a different bat design. Yeah, the styrofoam, I think every time someone like rubs up on it, it's starting to like peel. It stinks because the team works so hard creating these little works of art, and then guests just kind of ruin them. If you look on this one little bat, it looks like there's wiring. They could connect the cable, right, to illuminate the eyes.
And there's big Last of Us news for HHN. So Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson have recorded new lines as Joel and Ellie for the Last of Us themed attraction at Halloween Horror Nights. Original voice actors came in and re-recorded stuff, which I think is awesome. I hate when they have not the actors record audio lines like Hermione, Hogwarts Express. It's just terrible. So I'm happy the original voice actors came back. Ours is gonna take place in Pittsburgh, just like California's. There's gonna be clickers, stalkers, and bloaters. We're gonna get the whole array of infected happening within the house. Now, one of my favorite things about doing these construction updates, it can show you guys, right, who aren't here seeing this day-to-day progress, how hard the teams are working. We got the lighting team, we got the costume department, we got the scare actors, we got food and beverage. There's just so many teams that it takes to put HHN together.
I think on these little tent things, we'll probably get some cave drawing art explaining the creatures and maybe backstory of this area.
Now, Jared also posted this. This is gonna be our first look at the facade for the Darkest Deal. So it says, aerial look at sprung tent number 1, used for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. And we can see it looks like Bub's Lounge is gonna be out front. A lot of great distressing to the front of the facade. BioReconstruct posted some aerial photos of the Kid Zone theming in back of the house of Universal Studios, Florida. We can see the Woody Woodpecker sign, the Kid Zone pizza, Woody Woodpecker holding his pizza, and then the actual Kid Zone sign and a bunch of other props. So I wonder if these will end up at the Lakeland Antique Mall or if they will be saved in like the Universal archives. Then he also took a photo of the current construction state of the DreamWorks land. So now we're in San Francisco, right, for this scare zone. So the backstory behind this is gonna be the 1940s now. So this is after the house, after Dr. Oddfellow has become immortal, right? He's got all this power. They were saying within the scare zone, he's gonna be actually one of the creatures. You'll be able to tell because of a scar. Before Jack died, right? He like cut Dr. Oddfellow and his blood fell into Jack, and that's how Jack became immortal. So you'll see a scar on one of the creatures inside the scare zone, and that's gonna be Dr. Oddfellow. Dr. Oddfellow is like getting all these different creatures, and he's creating creatures, but they were saying this is gonna kind of connect to every single like house over the past years. So we're seeing creatures pop up from different scare zones and houses within this zone because Dr. Oddfellow helped create them and place them, creating the different HHN houses and scare zones. He's the actual big bad, not fear. It's been Dr. Oddfellow all along, kind of orchestrating all this madness. So then we're getting into Vampire Summer 69. So the story behind this is, again, this is Dr. Oddfellow. He's become immortal. And he's just terrorizing the entire world, right? For Vamp 55, some of those same vampires are still alive, and they're gonna be actually here inside Vamp 69. They have a whole kind of backstory plan for all the vampires and everything, but that's where we are in the timeline. It's 1969, and Dr. Oddfellow has sent the vampires to kind of attack everybody in this little town.
We got all these new banners advertising Summerfest 69, New York, 3 days of love and music featuring Cat and the Gemstones, Pacific Sandals, the Flamin' Carrots, the Henderson Experience, Groovy Kitties, Hazy Diamond Trio, all new acts, plus food and fun. This is where a lot of food stands are gonna be, I'm guessing, connecting all the food stands to the Music Fest 69. That's what I'm guessing is gonna happen. Now the banners are in all different colors. It's all the same banner, but we have a blue banner, then we got a green banner right here. We got a pink banner right here. We got a yellow and like purple banner, and you can see there's the Dr. Oddfellow symbol up there that we've seen pop up in all the promotional art and also in the scare zone. Cool, they put that little Easter egg within the banner. We got a little nom nom right there, but I'm not seeing too much new over here. This is where probably a food stand will be.
Keep this party going, y'all. So these are the fellas you've been jamming with, jazz all over my neighborhood. Why didn't they ask me to join the party? No. Didn't they think I could? Well, if you think you're heading for your gig tonight, leaving me alone all night. They got another thing coming, honey. I'm gonna show them how to do it right. Do it right. Oh.
There's nothing new on the stage, but again, you'll see Dr. Oddfellow's symbol right there.
Now, we also got some more story info, right, for Yeti Campground Kills. There's gonna be a little baby Yeti in the house. It's gonna be kind of like the dark humor like house. You know, there's always kind of those like silly, cheesy, just fun houses to go through. That's gonna be Yeti Campground Kills this year.
In the last video, I cut this from the video, but for a second I thought these were maybe the stunt bikes from Terminator. I went in and did like 20 minutes of research, matching everything up, and they're not the bikes from the Terminator 3D attraction. I think these are just kind of like scrap bikes that they picked up. And now all these lights right here on both sides, these are not connected to anything. You see there's no power cables going to it, but there are power cables going to the main light right here, the little spotlight. Little maintenance shed has popped up. Now we have a new addition to the scare zone. We have some takeout. What? How did that get there? The Minions Super Silly Stuff gift shop. This is all new. They have these little flags right here, and there's also some lights. I don't remember ever seeing that. Maybe I'm just noticing it for the first time, but I'm pretty sure that stuff is new. The flags and the lights. America's Got Talent's new posters themed to the Dueling Dragons. You gonna be going fire or ice? Which one?
That's kind of the whole story that we know so far about all the scare zones. We're gonna go over to Islands real quick, see if there's anything new. Then we'll go back to the family room, right, and talk about the whole story behind Dr. Oddfellow's house and what's gonna be happening within that house.
Brand new signs presenting Rocky and Bullwinkle, or the Ring Mooster. Presenting Broomhilda, Every Which Way. Presenting Boris and Natasha, Explosive Escapades. And then the last new little banner, presenting Popeye and Olive Oil, in Fire and Oil.
So I've been waiting for this for years. Now for green eggs and ham, right, it's one of the best places to eat for a little quick bite to eat. The buffalo chicken top, but there used to be a sign that used to be above it. That's been gone forever. And now, if you look really closely, they've kind of stripped down the pole. So I think that's a good sign. They're gonna take the pole off completely, or they're gonna put the sign back on green eggs and ham. Time to hop into the All Hallows Eve boutique. All right, now if you come over here to where the little art department is, we see all this film, right? Gonna guess it's a little Easter egg for the creative team, because you know, they're always stressed. So they put some subliminal messaging right here. It says less stress. Well, on that note, let's go over to the Red Coconut Club. I know outside the Red Coconut Club, we've got some truss work that has popped up. So I'm guessing there'll be some light effects set up right over here to then project onto the Dead Coconut Club. It looks like the Red Coconut Club is still operating as a normal bar, so they haven't like closed it down to do the switchover yet. But we're gonna do a place I haven't been to in probably a half decade here at CityWalk. Try it to see if it's any good for you guys. Called the Whopper Bar. It's next to Moe's and the Panda Express up here. Today is Jamaican Independence Day. We got some stilt walkers out today. How are you doing today?
Yes.
We're heading off to the Whopper Bar. Here we are, the Whopper Bar. They got some construction going on the stairs over here. So let's see what's happening in here. They got some Burger King crowns that you can get. The Whopper Bar, world's first, Orlando 2009. It started as a spark, okay, Figment. It spread into an inferno. 100% flame broiled beef, topped with unique ingredients, America's favorite burger, with more than 1 million ways to have it your way. They have chicken sandwiches, chicken fries, and burgers. So it's just not Whoppers only. They pretty much have the entire Burger King menu here. We got our table, that's not ours.
Good news, you do get a 10% off discount if you're an annual pass holder, with still $13.41. That's a lot of money for a Burger King burger.
We got our meal, hearty, melty. Okay. We just got like a bacon burger with ketchup.
Forgot how big a freaking Whopper was. And that's a Burger King burger.
We hopped into the Universal Studios CityWalk store. They got new little plushes. We got Carnage right here. We got the happiest little green goblin you could ever see. Now these are all gonna be $17 a piece. Even got his little pumpkin bomb right there.
Okay guys, we're back in the office. Let me tell you the entire story for the Dr. Oddfellow's Twisted Origin house. This is what Universal released on their podcast, so we'll do a whole little rundown about what's gonna be happening within the house. Jack is back. Now, like we talked about before, this house is gonna take place in 1930, kind of enter into Dr. Oddfellow's circus, but he's gonna be like, no, come back after hours, and then you're gonna go in through this like little side entrance. And when you walk in, you're gonna be greeted by some clowns. And then when you get into the circus, Dr. Oddfellow's gonna be there, and then you're gonna be kind of witnessing all these like people being murdered in all these very grotesque ways. He's trying to harness their soul so he can live forever, right? Have immortality. So Dr. Oddfellow uses the Cane of Souls. We can see this here on the little Jack figure. This is how it kind of looks. I have a theory. His Cane of Souls, right? There's a skull on top. I wonder if this is the same skull that he's picking up in the Jungle of Doom scare zone, right? He's picking up like this crystal skull. So I wonder if that is the skull that is on top of his cane. That's what I'm thinking. Then you're kind of in the house, and then you kind of end up getting murdered. You die, right? Then apparently they're saying you go into the dark Zodiac realm, which I believe is kind of like the scare zone that we saw. But then the coolest part about this house is you hear about the backstory behind Jack and Dr. Oddfellow. When Dr. Oddfellow is like killing Jack and putting him in the box, Jack like slices his face. So you're gonna see the scar pop up on Dr. Oddfellow in certain scare zones, because now Dr. Oddfellow is immortal. That blood gets into Jack, causing Jack to become immortal. So that's how Jack can come back so many years later at Universal Studios, connecting the entire story of how Jack became immortal, which I think is awesome. I think Universal Creative is doing an awesome job this year, because sometimes years of HHN are too IP heavy or too like original heavy. I feel like this is that perfect little balance of like there's some amazing IPs that are coming, but also like they're still giving us so much rich story and lore for like HHN, and I'm digging it. I cannot wait to see what more we get to uncover within the houses. But I think Creative has done a very good job with kind of making this layered story for this year for HHN 32. So guys, let me know down in the comments, what do you think about Jack coming back? We know there's gonna be kind of a silhouette of like the murder happening between Dr. Oddfellow and Jack. Now, It's Jared Film also posted photos of how the Dr. Oddfellow house is gonna look. So it says, updated look at the progress being made of Sprung Tent number 2 using Universal's Halloween Horror Nights. We can see the entrance of how the circus is gonna look. I kind of love there's kind of this like little pre-scare zone before you even like get into the house. I think that's awesome. So guys, let me know down in the comments, what do you think about the Dr. Oddfellow origin story, and also like Jack kind of coming back. We'll see if he's like actually in person or if it's just like a silhouette. Okay, so a little update on the Taste of Terror. So they just offered the annual pass holder 15% off discount. When I paid for it, there was no annual pass holder discount, but now there is. One of you guys said to call the number and you can get it fixed, but I wanted to see if you could do it within the park. So I went to guest relations within the park. Guest relations then got me on the phone with someone else, and they kind of like refund you your initial charge of like $170, and then they recharge you with the annual pass holder charge. It's like 140 something, so it's better than 170, but 140. There better be pizza fries there. That's all I care about. Some pre-season pizza fries at the little Taste of Terror thing. It's coming up. I think we go film it on August 10th, so the video should be out on August 11th then for you guys about what is being offered for this Taste of Terror. There's still no really official menu, no official drink menu. We really have no idea what's going on. It was pretty much just like Universal saying, hey, give me $170. We're gonna feed you something. So I have no idea what I'm walking into. But guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button, join the family.
We love the family.
Because I'm gonna keep you up to date on all things spooky and scary and Halloween Horror Nights around the country. I love you all, and I'll see y'all very soon.
Shoot for the stars.
No.